Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up a defense for kitchen and dining on Villa. Now the way that I've set up this bomb site with castle barricades on every major entry, I really wish that this was a meme or an exaggeration to get my point across for this video, but it really isn't. Even when I play my unranked games and my ranked diamond games, this seems to be the same thing that I'm seeing all the time. And it's obviously down to one easy reason. It's because people play AV, they lose AV, then they play Trophy, they win Trophy, and then they go back to AV again. Or they win AV, they win Trophy, and then they're just sort of forced to play this third bomb site. Because they don't know it, they castle everything, and they sort of just bunker down, and this happens at the highest of ranks also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to first attack the bomb site, and once you know how to attack the bomb site properly, then you'll know how to defend it, and you'll know how to stop that incoming attack. And once your team understands how this bomb site actually works, they'll stop being careless, you can start getting rid of these castle barricades, and you can even get rid of castle entirely, and start using operators that have way more value in your defense overall. A good rule of thumb for figuring out how to attack any bomb site in the game is to first decide where the plant spot is, and work your way backwards to the beginning of the round. So on this bomb site, what normally happens is people get it down to a 4v1 and then they just sort of fudge a plant here somewhere and then they say that that's the plant spot. But that's not true, because if there was numbers on the defensive side, they could shoot you from China, which there would be a rotate here. There'd be a guy behind Tetris. There might be a guy at the back of the fridge, and there's no cover. So this couldn't be a default plant spot. In my opinion, the default plant spot is actually here, when you open the wall from pantry stairs and you plant just in the corner of kitchen. Now you could plant here behind this kitchen table, and there would be a bomb chassis right here, and it would feel like there's a lot of cover because your head tucks down. But if you don't clear a guy from what's called Tetris, which is the strongest spot in the whole defense, you can just stand on this table and you can just hit him on the head, and it doesn't work. But here is an excellent plant spot. It is the default plant spot for me, especially if there's numbers on the board. Okay, so now that we know that this is our default plant spot, this sort of automatically locks in our first power position on defense, and that is at the back of kitchen, and it's using this bomb chassis as a nice bit of geometry, nice bit of cover. And if we keep this wall closed using Cade, you can use Mute Jammer if you want, but if Cade's playable, this Cade claw inside the cabinet is basically never going to get removed by just traditional means of coming through this door and shooting it or whatever. It's not happening. This wall's staying closed, which means that this is completely solidified. You can play here and it becomes a nightmare, considering that we're going to have our second defender here on Tetris. So Tetris has a lot of nasty angles, and it's a really ratty, powerful position to play. Don't overlook this. You should always have a player here. Not only does it have a lot of nasty sort of angles, even if you elevate up over here, you can actually shoot the pantry window right there, and you create a crossfire with the person at the back of the kitchen over here. You can also stand on top of this box again, and you can get some elevated angles into China, and you can get some C4 yeets over the top, and you still have your own C4 to hit the default plant spot. So this is the core of our defense. We have a Cade playing at the back of kitchen, because if this wall is closed, they have to filter through this door. Now be very careful playing this kitchen position. If you play it too far forward like this, you can find a random crackhead, like an Ash player or an Amber, who can yeet in mud, and before they can test any angles or really anything, they can sort of just come up to here and slam you in the back of the head. So you don't really ever want to be too close to the bomb chassis. You can play this pretty far back, but just be very careful at the start of the game. We'll also have our second defender here in Dining or Tetris, creating this crossfire, and we're denying the default plant. So now that we have this sort of idea of our power positions, how do we remove these players? Well, it's really simple. We go above them. Okay, so when you're attacking the upstairs, I recommend that you have two soft breachers. You have a primary soft breacher, like a buck or a sledge, and then you have somebody with breaching charges to get some of the more tricky areas of the floor open. I'm going to give you worst case scenario, and I'm going to tell you how to do this with only a set of breaching charges. So first of all, you want to jump in the closet because it's got a hard floor, so you're not going to be C4'd, and you want to place your first breaching charge on the right side of the closet. This won't blow up an angle into the floor, so you're not going to be seen through that, and it just allows you to place your second one right here on the middle of the bathroom. Now, if you do it like this, you're not going to be shot from an angle from somebody down here. You're actually going to clear anything off the wall from here, because this is actually a hard wall. Okay, so this is actually pretty easy to get that if you do it this way. It also allows you to rotate through the master bedroom and get a sort of long angle onto anybody that's playing tucked in that corner, it's actually really, really common. Your last breaching round really just goes here, sort of the edge of this rug. And this one clears out anybody who might be at the back of kitchen. There's always somebody at the back of kitchen. We can clear that player we were talking about that might be hugging the bomb chassis about here. And then you also get like a long angle into the back of China. I do want you to remember the golden rule of doing vertical play. If you just do vertical play for the sake of doing vertical play, like I see this all the time, I see Bucks and Sledges, they just come in and they just start shredding up everything, and it's just an absolute mess. And the reason that it's not as good idea as you think it is if you just do vertical for the sake of vertical, and you haven't opened this pantry wall here before you continue with the rest of your vertical, there's absolutely no reason why somebody wouldn't just sit here and do this. Like, why wouldn't this guy just sit here and try to catch you off guard? They don't have to worry about this window. They don't have to worry about this angle. It's a real rookie mistake through soft breaching, so try not to do that. Try to get anything off this wall first. Open this wall from the window of pantry, and then continue with whatever vertical play you're going to do. It's something I see people do all the time, and those deaths are so easily avoidable. So now we know that the attack wants to come through closet, come through master, keep doing vertical, and end up here with the last bit of vertical in Astro. We just want to make this as annoying and as difficult as possible and waste so much of their time and make it very dangerous for them to do that. So we'll get Pulse and we'll reinforce upstairs. So this is where Pulse is going to play. He's going to play in Memo and he's going to play in Dining. You're going to have two C4s. You're going to have Cade's pre-placed C4, roughly here, and you're going to have the other one in your pocket. Now what this does is if the top floor defenders make it really difficult for them to funnel into bathroom, which is roughly around here, they're going to get really congested around here, which is just peeking Astro from the top of bathroom. And they're also going to get congested right here, which is what's called Brick's door is in Master. You're probably going to get a few C4s here, and you're going to level the game down to 5v3 before the attack have had any chance to do anything else. You'll also get some ratty information on people trying to come up through pantry, and you can sort of find out how many people are outside bikes and how many people are outside laundry as well. So the goal is to just waste as much time with the attack upstairs, get some C4s, and feed some information, because at the end of the game it's going to become an absolute rat fest with some banshees and some traps to slow down the attackers when they have absolutely no more time to finish up the round. So in order to bolster this whole attack and lean into this whole wasting of time with your defenders upstairs, you're going to need one shield. And you just want to place one shield roughly here, and it's just going to give you free access to the stairs without being shot to anybody who might be sitting here in the bathroom. Now the reason we're bringing Alibi is because Alibi helps to set up the site a lot quicker. At the start of the round, Alibi's just going to bailiff anything that's up high. So anything you see up here, she's going to bailiff this really quickly, and she's also going to bailiff this sort of elevated spot here in Tetris. You're not doing any reinforcements, you're just putting up your Alibi prismas, which are annoying, by the way. If you put these in the windows, this gives you it's very disruptive to angles, and it's also information. You can also place one behind your shield, and then you can just use your bailiff to finish up the bomb site. So with Alibi on these stairs, as you can see, if they hit these prismas, they're going to get lit up by a red ping in and around Master, which is just going to make it even easier for Pulse and Cade to get C4s, on top of the fact you have Pulse, that you have callouts from your team. You have a really good gun, and also your whole job, because you're a 3-speed, is you're going to be moving between this angle right here, and you're going to be moving and making sure nobody tries to run or get really cheesy between what's called mudron and what we call clock. It also helps with your bailiff if you can open up all the other hatches that are upstairs as well. So we're going to have a Rooney also play up here, and she's going to just reinforce this Astro door with a gate. She's going to add another one to the pantry door, and finish up with one here on the laundry door. You could put it here in China. Some teams like to do that, but we should have, as I said just before, we should have Alibi on the stairs. We're going to have more things like Banshees here to stop people, so I really don't see a gate on China being super necessary, but you can do it if you want. You can also place your bulletproof camera right here on the picture frame, looking all the way down red. If you have time with a Rooney, I really recommend barricading as many doors as possible. So now we're going to take Melusi and we're basically going to double down with our tactic with a Rooney. We're going to place a Banshee right here next to the kitchen door. We're going to reinforce this wall. We're going to place our other Banshee right outside of the laundry door. You can reinforce these two walls right here on laundry as well. And you can put your second camera in another optional spot, which I quite like, right up here. And your last Banshee just goes right here, right outside the back hallway, right outside the clock, and right outside China. And with Melusi, you want to play up here in statue. Now, remember Cade from earlier? Well, he's going to make sure that these three walls are completely electrified from down below. So you'll be here ratting in statue. You'll have Alibi at the top of Astro stairs, and you'll have a Rooney playing here in trophy, supplying some nice crossfires for you into Master. So these three defenders up here want to make sure that they waste as much time as possible. Don't be overly aggressive, but admit when the round is over for you upstairs and that you need to fall back. The longer that you can delay the attack, then the harder it's going to be for them to win at the end, because they have all these Banshees, they have these Rooney gates, they have crossfires, and it just becomes an absolute nightmare to get a plant off. So let's recap on what we're doing here. We have Melusi upstairs in statue with the three walls reinforced, and it will be Cade Claude from below. You'll have crossfires with a Rooney, who will be playing right here in trophy. A Rooney's whole role in this defence is just to provide crossfires between the other two defenders, which is Melusi, who's going to be in statue, and Alibi, who's going to be in Astro. And you can provide these crossfires right here. You can even come right this side. You can go through the rotate. You can help that way, or you can jump in this box, and you can see into the Astro door as well. But your main job is to work this bulletproof camera, because what people like to do is they like to come through this door right here from library, and they like to come all the way down the red hall, and they like to open up pressure on the pulse that's in Memo, and you can take care of all of that by playing here like this. You're also responsible for the crouch walker who might try to come up the bottom staircase as well, and it also helps if you barricade this door. But that's your whole job as a Rooney. So Alibi is the last piece in the upstairs defence. Again, the reason we have Alibi is the bailiff just helps speed things up. You have a great gun, but it's primarily because of your shield. So you can do this with any operator that has a shield. It doesn't matter, but you absolutely need the shield to make this spot worth playing. I mean, Alibi's gadget is good because it's really annoying on these windows. It's just also information for anybody that's playing around here that they're actually shooting those to jump in those windows. Don't get too occupied with this angle and trying to chase frags here. Remember, Pulse is going to be downstairs feeding you that information. Your whole play is to make sure that people don't come through Mud Door, which is down here. Now we know that a Rooney will be able to see anybody under this hatch, and she's taking care of the red hallway. So really, mud is your priority and no one else's. It's really down to you. If a guy walks through there and hits this Banshee and doesn't die, that's your whole thing. But you have to be flexible between these two positions. Cade's main job is to deny this pantry wall through this cabinet. Now, Cade is normally banned all the time, so you can do this with just one bandit battery if you want, or a mute jammer. But the whole reason that he's better at this bomb site than anybody else is all you want to do is throw this K-Claw right up here, and that's going to get the triple wall above you in Master. And you're going to play at the back of kitchen, and you're going to be primarily responsible for anybody trying to push through this door, and you will be taking gunfights, but I really urge you to let them, one, burn the Aruni Gate, and make this Banshee go off before you start getting aggressive. If none of that's happened, you do not need to do this and make this easy for the attackers. And as I said at the start of the video, the last defender is Pulse. Now, the reason we have Pulse is because he has a C4 and information. Now, you could take Valkyrie if you wanted, but Valkyrie's going to be banned 99% of the time for good reason, which means Pulse just gives you the information that she would otherwise give you, but, you know, she's going to be banned every single time. Now, just like Alibi, who has a specific role of making sure nobody comes through mud, you're doing essentially the same thing. You're not fishing for kills, you're not looking around randomly. You're giving information where you otherwise don't have it, or where your defenders can't see. Cade can't see into pantry, nobody can see into laundry, and nobody can see outside of bikes. Alibi can't see into closet, and she can't see the corner of the bathroom. Melusi can't see into Master, or see the brick door right here. Aruni and Melusi also can't see people pushing into Boar and Chair, which is around this area. So you see why you have to stick to within this sort of area, because you basically see everything from being around here. You don't need to be here, you don't need to be over here, you don't need to be in Narnia. You need to stick to where you're good at, which is going to be roughly around Memo, and this sort of L shape between dining and Memo. So if you've seen any of these other videos that I've made, you should start to see a common thread going through all the defenses, and that's establishing where the default plant spot is, and then putting defenders in powerful positions that are very hard for the attackers to clear, that really control the entire defense, and then basically accepting that you're not going to control other parts of the map because it has nothing to do with any of the power positions that your defense is centered around, and then just really leaning in to the parts that you want to hold. You really don't need to hold the whole map, you don't need to do anything cheesy, and you just need good coordination, and this defense is exactly the same. So, I hope everybody gets to try it out with your stack. Maybe it even helps you in your solo queue games. Let me know in the comments how you're getting on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.